Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating framework called Inspire. Specifically, we're going to explore how emerging and senior leaders in incredibly complex environments, like the UN, can move way beyond traditional management to drive actual, system-wide institutional change. If you've ever felt like your authority on paper just doesn't match the crazy complexity of the problems you're trying to solve, well, you're absolutely in the right place.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll look at the execution gap, define system impact, break down 5 core capabilities, rethink our leadership behaviors, and wrap up with a 90-day action cycle. Let's get right into it.
Section 1, the execution gap. This is where ambition meets reality.
We have all been there, right? This execution gap is a massive frustration for practically anyone operating in a highly matrixed organization. And it begs a really serious question. Why does great strategy fail? I mean, you've got the impressive title, you have the official mandate, the technical tools, the budget lines. So why do cross-functional initiatives just stall out? Why do these brilliant reforms look so good in a policy document, but totally fizzle out in practice? Well, the gap basically looks like this. On one side, you have your organizational ambition, the grand strategies and big reform agendas. But on the exact opposite side, you face the incredibly messy reality of system-wide execution. Because let's be honest, having a brilliant strategy is vastly different from actually getting real people to act together across boundaries, especially when their incentives and goals are clashing entirely. Moving on to Section 2, defining system impact, moving beyond formal hierarchy. To actually bridge that execution gap we just talked about, and to tackle massive modern complexities like a cross-agency digital rollout or global climate resilience, we need a completely new paradigm. System impact isn't just another corporate buzzword. It's the capacity to shape the conditions where multiple actors can act coherently, even when they have totally different mandates, cultures, and constraints. So leadership is no longer just directing your immediate staff. It is actively shaping the collaborative environment itself. What does this look like in the real world? It means translating that high-level philosophy into everyday discipline. A leader going for system impact knows how to convene the right stakeholders. You actively surface those hidden assumptions that quietly kill projects. You listen to resistance without getting defensive, which is tough. You make difficult trade-offs totally transparent, and you fiercely keep everyone's attention on the actual outcomes, rather than letting people fall back into comfortable, we've always done it this way institutional habits. Section 3, the 5 core capabilities. This is the Inspire methodology. To pull this off, you really need to integrate 5 specific capabilities. It starts inward with self-aware leadership, understanding your own biases and how you respond to pressure. Then it expands outward. Relational leadership to build trust, strategic leadership to see the wider system and align diverse actors, change leadership to handle the inevitable pushback, and finally, results leadership to manage risks and deliver actual measurable outcomes. Zooming in on the relational side for a second, there's a golden rule here. Strengthen trust as the currency of system impact. Look, in a complex network, you simply cannot command cooperation. You have to earn it, and that means creating absolute psychological safety, an environment where your teams can flag risks, admit mistakes, and voice respectful dissent without any fear whatsoever of getting penalized. A huge part of earning that trust? Listening. But using listening as a strategic intervention, not just a professional courtesy. Before you design any action or announce a big new initiative, take the time to map your stakeholders and uncover their political sensitivities. Doing this proves your humility, it demonstrates immense stakeholder intelligence, and honestly, it helps you dodge hidden landmines you didn't even know were there. Section 4, rethinking leadership behaviors. Time for some paradigm shifts. To truly adopt these capabilities, we kind of have to audit our own habits. Think about it. When you push for really difficult change and you inevitably hit a wall of opposition from your team or partner agencies, how do you typically react? Do you dig your heels in, get a little defensive, maybe try to muscle it through using your formal authority? Well, here's the paradigm shift. Turn that resistance into diagnostic information. Instead of fighting the pushback or taking it personally, treat their hesitation as 3 incredibly vital data. It's literally a spotlight pointing right at hidden risks, unrealistic workload issues, or unresolved questions that you absolutely need to address before the project can succeed. It also requires a major shift in how you view ownership. Traditional management tells you to protect your turf and own every single mandate you control, but system leadership asks you to lead across mandates. It's about learning to influence colleagues and partners in spaces where authority is widely distributed.
You're aligning your personal authority with the collective purpose rather than just hunting for personal visibility or total control.
This directly flips how you view your team's makeup too. You have to stop seeing diversity as merely an HR metric or some box to check. Instead, recognize it as a massive strategic capability. By bringing fundamentally different backgrounds, disciplines, and field experiences to the table, you are literally engineering a smarter problem-solving machine. Finally, Section 5, the 90-day action cycle, taking this from concept to practice.
Let's apply this right to your actual desk. System impact doesn't happen with one grand memo or a single training session. It requires a disciplined, cyclical approach to reduce friction over time. First, observe the system. Second, consult the right people. Third, test a small intervention. Don't overhaul everything at once. Fourth, gather feedback. And fifth, only then do you institutionalize what actually works.
The magic number for this loop is 90. To make this super concrete, your task is to identify one specific system impact challenge you're facing right now in your role, then deliberately apply just one chosen leadership behavior, like structured listening or transparent trade-offs for a strict 90-day implementation cycle. How will you know if it's working? Well, the signs are pretty tangible. You'll see clearer risk escalation from your team instead of them hiding problems. Quieter stakeholders will finally start speaking up in meetings. You'll notice less duplicated work across departments and a massive spike in genuine ownership. That is the true bridge between theory and actual organizational benefit. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one absolutely vital provocation. Are you just managing your desk, or are you leading the system? Tomorrow morning, when you log back in, challenge yourself on how you intend to use your informal influence. Because the complex problems of the future, they are going to be solved by those who shape the environment, not just those who manage the tasks. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.